My name's Rob. I'm an addict. I was born in Williamsport, PA. My mom was an alcoholic. My dad was an addict. I seen the worst of two worlds combined. You know, they say 4 and 5 is like the learning years, and you learn so much when you're that young. And all I seen was, my family fighting and everything, and it was rough. And I held on to that for a very long time, and I resented them for it and putting us through what they did. I mean, every day was a constant battle between them because of their addictions. Me and my brother had to suffer through that, which was the worst part. When I was about 9 or 10, they got a divorce. My uncle died. He got stabbed and killed. He was a big part of my life and my childhood when my family were fighting. And, he died, and my dad lost it. Like, he didn't know what to do. He started kicking me out. It was rough. I slept on my first park bench when I was 12. I tried to find places to go. Not everybody's parents wanted me to stay there all the time. They didn't understand what I was going through. They didn't understand my situation. We were so young, it was hard to explain to them. I didn't know how to get help. I didn't want to put my parents in a situation where I would get them in trouble. I was tired of being alone, and I started selling drugs. So I stayed over in Southside until I got arrested for selling drugs. I was about 13 when I got arrested by the DEA and the Southside police. I went away for a year. There was like 500 kids, and I was the youngest. It was hard, trying to be somebody I wasn't, to prove to them, what I was. And I felt like I was alone because when I came home, my PO didn't want me living with my mom or my dad. So he helped me get my own place. I dropped out of school, which was the biggest mistake of my life. I got my GED, I got off probation, and now I have my own apartment. And I felt like no one cared. My PO didn't care besides getting me my GED, because I was using the whole time I was on probation and everything. I was in and out of selling drugs in my apartments, and I used about $300 to $500 a day in drugs. It was anywhere from alcohol to weed, all the way up to cocaine and other hard drugs. And when I wanted to stop, I couldn't stop, and I was so far wrapped into these things. And all I did was start with a couple of drinks here and there, and it'd just be a drink or two every other weekend. By the time I got out of boot camp, I was using daily. I couldn't stop. When I wanted to stop, I shake so bad. I couldn't wake up in the morning without thinking about alcohol or drugs. The first thing I wanted to do was get messed up. I couldn't even go do anything with my family unless I was messed up. Once I started using, the only habit I knew was to use when things got tough. Like, I didn't know how to talk to anybody. I didn't know how to react to any situation without being messed up. And it was scary. I overdosed probably 9 times by the time I was 22. I was living this gang lifestyle with all these guys and running around state to state and thinking I was the man. I mean, I had friends kill themselves in cars drinking and driving at 17. Selling drugs. I've had friends that died over $30 4 different times. Best kids you ever meet, track stars, people that play basketball. One of them played football. His anniversary of 3 years dead was actually today. It's sad. I'm only 24 years old, and I have over 50 friends that died, either from overdoses, killing themselves, gang violence, drugs, car crashes. And the sad thing is, all this was happening at such a young age. You think it might not happen to you now. I wish I could have prevented picking up the first time, but I was afraid to ask for help. I was afraid to feel different. There's a lot of places in your community that'll help if you just reach out for them. I was so bad during my addiction and thinking I was the man and having my own place and everything. I lost everything during, 5 years of my life. I lost my kid. This girl tried to help me. She tried to save my life during my addiction, and I didn't want to listen, and I wasn't ready to change. And, I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. I remember us getting into one little argument about it, something so stupid, and, it escalated so quickly, and I put my hands on her. She was just sitting at the top of my stairs crying, and I never thought I'd put my hands on a woman, and I never thought, in a million years I would have been homeless, and I still didn't ask for help. I was so afraid. I went to the bars every night and spent about $200 to $300 in alcohol, until one night I woke up bleeding and I couldn't breathe. And, you know, I hit rock bottom, you know, and the first thing I did was call my mom and cried for help. You know, I've seen so many people die, did so many wrong things. You know, I finally wanted help. And, you know, she was there for me, even after all the wrong I did. You know, she took me to meetings and stuff, and I had people there that I never knew would help me, and they didn't want a single thing from me. They helped me every step of the way when I had long nights that I just wanted to die. I hurt so many people. I did so many things to people. I watched my friends die in front of me. You know, I could have prevented all that by talking to somebody at an early age. I still want to use almost every other day. No matter how much I stray away from it, the addiction stays with you for life. And I never understood that, but now I do. So for kids, you know, thinking it's fun, you know, thinking it's cool, you know, I lost everything. And all I did was start with a couple of drinks. But today, you know, I help kids. I'm a sponsor. I go to school because of the heroin task force and communities that I help. I try to give back. I'm going to school to be a certified recovery specialist, and then I want to further in psychology. I do construction. I have a full-time job while I'm doing all this. Full benefits and everything. You know, I'm a father to my son now. I've changed everything I possibly could. You know, I got my record expunged because I've been out of trouble with the law for 5 years. But my addiction still fights me till this day. It will be with you forever, and the only way to deal with your emotions and everything is talking about it. And I have to do that on a daily basis now. Like, I have to go to meetings. I have to talk to people. If I'm not helping someone or talking about it, it's only brewing up inside me, and that's something I'm still learning to this day to deal with. If something's eating at you or you start partying, you know, I'd reach out for help right away, because I didn't think I'd get where I was at now. And I just wanted to say thanks for listening. That's my story, and just don't pick up.